Seems like 1,000 years ago. I fought my way out of that cave. I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
The world has changed. None of us can go back. All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
I saw all these people die.
I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
I like this one.
We're back, man. It has been a minute, but we made it through the season, man. We made it through the season. A couple more surprises, but been a few weeks, dude.
Part of me is sad, but pumped that like we're moving on to this next step on it. It's been a hell of a ride, dude. Honestly, like I was thinking about it last night. What better way to convince your wife that you need to watch football than to say it's for work?
But I thought that we talked about that in the beginning, and now you just aired it off to everybody else. Yeah, that's the whole damn point, man. And now you just ruined it for us. She don't watch this anyway, so it's good.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, man. Yeah, it feels like something's been missing over the last couple of weeks. We obviously haven't had the chance to do this with the holidays, and then obviously last week just didn't feel right to come on and trash talk after, the big elephant in the room with Hamlin.
Yeah,
he's home, by the way, so that's good.
Truth be told, I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I had shit to do catching up from the holidays, but 100% same too.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, the football season is come to an end. The UNfantasy season and subsequent playoff brackets have also come to an end. Let's jump right into it, man. Where do you want to start? You want to start in the league? You want to start in the Unfan League?
Yeah, so we are cool, man. We have a cool surprise with this stuff. We're going to go over who won, all of these things, because there's multiple winners. That's how we designed this whole thing, right? So Jack says you thought you wore the pants in the family. Definitely not true. I can vouch for that. You might not be wearing pants now. I don't know. I'm not going to ask for a stand-up check, but I'm not sure.
I promise I'm not Jeffrey Toobin.
I don't know. All right. But I mean, there's a lot of winners here, so let's go over this specifically. Let's start with the Loser Bowl 1 winner from now.
Yeah. So Loser Bowl 1, it was Bladder Kickers versus Monday Night Sauce. Monday Night Sauce had a hell of a run throughout these brackets, so much so that it actually popped her up into the third overall point total. But Bladder Kickers, man, they just had the right matchups week to week in the head-to-heads, kept moving on, and then lo and behold, they just completely crushed Monday Night Sauce and claimed the first ever Loser Bowl victory.
Yep. Well, I don't know if I know you're not using that pronoun they for them yet. It's your son, which I think is cool. Your unborn son, Bladder's Kickers, which the world has changed, as you saw in the opener here. The world's about to change for you, man. You're about to have a second baby over that way. I also think it's kind of cheap. I'm happy for little Mikey there, but I'm also you got two teams there but it is very good that before this guy comes out, he's a winner.
So let me just clarify everything. I mean, first of all, it's not like he was gifted a entry into this league. He, that was one of the first investments I made for him. Fuck college,
That's
on
true.
fantasy football league first. He did pay his way into the league. The only lineup changes that were made were to avoid any kind of bye weeks that happened throughout the season. There was also, I guess, prized playing cards that were gifted. And I believe one of the weeks, it's actually documented here in the video archives, that Frank needed a playing card to substitute a bye week. So I worked a deal on behalf of my son. And that's how we actually ended up with the Raiders win-loss card, which pushed him over the edge into the victory column. So,
well, I'm glad that you did not over-explain like that when I asked if you were wearing pants right now, because when you over-explain, you're guilty on some level. I got no issue with it, frankly, but it's awesome. I think we designed the league where you can be, and if you look at the standings, it's kind of how it played out, which is very cool to see. You can be an active participant, and you can be a medium participant, or you could just not participate at all. But that's kind of how it went down. So congrats on your boy Bladder Kickers taking the first ever Loser Bowl. He's going to get a real physical trophy with his name on it. There's going to be two of them, one in his little crib. So just as I used to design my baby's nurseries with Frank and Krista's art back in the day, you'll design this with a toilet bowl that's going to go in there, which will be very fun. Maybe we'll make a little poopy one or something. And so he's already got some cool decorations. He's already got more trophies on his case than you do these days. And that's what do you say about that?
I mean, it's going to be exciting.
Mike.
First breath of air, he's coming into the world. I might actually bring the trophy into the hospital with me just to, make sure that he sees that first and foremost. He's a forever champion. But one of the more interesting stories, and if you look back at the actual history of the way that the weeks played out, he was in dead last place after week one. He was the week one loser, the week one weekly loser, which, again, nobody's ever really out of it, right? We've said this time and time again, the way that we built this league is that, over a stretch of three weeks or so, Monday Night Sauce is an example, you can climb right out of the basement and end up in the top three.
Yep.
So, overall, I think that, collectively, dude, we both put a shit ton of work into this. I think the results have been amazing, and we're only really getting started here. But before we get into what the next steps were, let's talk about the participation trophy, because that was another bracket that concluded this past week. Great to see William to a B, or not to a B, pull through, barely squeaked by Frank. I mean, it was a close game on that one. And I think, William definitely set his lineup about 3 times this week to make sure he had the right teams in place. I don't know if he got some inside information from some of those teams or what, but at the end of the day, the correct decisions were made. And, he put a lot of faith in those afternoon games on Sunday.
Yep. It's good to see, man. And William, he's the only guy that has all 3 epic fail diamond backgrounds. So the rarity component of this stuff. So he was gifted a Spartan, which is no freaking joke. And there may be other Spartan gifted here in a minute. But yeah, very cool. Good to see him again. The participation bracket was kind of like our consolation bracket. Nobody was always out of it. We want to do weekly. We want to do annual. We're about to do all time. We're about to do something playoffy in a second here. But yeah, good to see him specifically because he was on it. He was swiping up some free agent cards all the time. He was minting some, trying to press his luck, got very lucky with some of those things, but then put that skill to the test and took down Frank in the consolation bracket over there.
Yep. So we'll announce the prizes for that too.
Yep.
I think we would do it on justice because we haven't done this in a couple weeks to at least mention, the week 16 winners, the week 17 winners, and then obviously this week as part of the weekly awards. So just briefly, and this is in the recap email too, but week 16 winner was Monday Night Sauce. That was kind of the beginning of her little run, just kind of, showcasing herself at the top of the bracket there. So congrats to Anna on that. 1 yard short was Punslingers, week 16 loser, 0 Fs given. Moving on to 17, The Hummyverse Hanks, they were the winners. 1 yard short was Bladder Kickers. So perhaps that was the reason they ended up in the loser bowl to begin with. And then for a record setting third time this season, Studio weekly loser. So that is a UNfantasy league record, if you want to put it that way. So entering the record books on that one. And then this past week, I think we said at the beginning of these brackets and these playoff systems that, the winner of the respective brackets might not necessarily be the ones that pull out the weekly victory. Dark Matter pulling it out for the second time this season. Top overall points for week 18. Straight Eth Homie rocking it in at 1 yard short. It looks like Straight Eth Homie's team just came alive at the wrong time this season. I feel like they've had a couple spots at the top of the weekly brackets there. And then to top off the last week, the weekly loser, Sugar Mania, who had an abysmal season, and looking forward to the draft, I guess, coming the off season.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff in there. Let's go over. Let's, I guess, share your screen and we can go over the overall, because like everybody wanted the overall. And to your point, who was the first week? Was it week 1 or week 2? Maybe week 3, but somewhere in that first week, few weeks, who finished last? Mac Jones in front points, correct?
Well, let's go. Week 1 was Bladder Kickers.
All right.
Week 2,
look at
that. I don't know if Mac Jones did finish dead last.
Let's look. I guess you can't see where the overall was at that point, can you?
Well, we could check to see like what the weekly scores were. I mean, they were second to last.
So look at the last two right there on week 1, Bladder Kickers and Mac Jones in front points. Bladder Kickers, the winner of the first ever Loser Bowl. Mac Jones in front points, the first ever all-time winner of the season, this first season.
And ironically, Studio, and
yeah, he didn't come out of the bottom. They just left him at the bottom.
But yeah, so coming back to the overall standings, I mean, super impressive, the top 3. I mean, cracking the 900-point mark and then some. I put it in the Telegram chat, but that Sunday night game had a lot of implications on how these seedings were going to play itself out. Mac Jones definitely made the right calls. Close second with goal stoppers, but Monday Night Sauce had their team completed before that Sunday night game, but it was a seesaw battle. I think at one point it was like 0.4 points that were separating all 3. Mac Jones obviously had the advantage with the amount of teams that were playing, and then obviously those Green Bay turnovers pushed her over the edge. But to your point about where they finished at the end of week 1, Mac Jones didn't just win the most overall points for the league. They also won 2 other scoring categories, which is extremely impressive considering it was special teams and penalties. So just goes to show you all of these categories are equally as important. I know you were very adamant about your win-loss, and that's the reason you were in the top 5 for sure. But that, you're also the winner of that win-loss category. So congratulations on that. But it's really impressive to see Mac Jones really like not even close 17-point cushion, utilizing a lot of those special teams and penalty points.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's close. 17 points is close. I was the top 10 here, which is awesome to see. Is 7 of the top 10 were pretty active with their lineups. Some were pretty passive, but see goal stoppers up there, Mac Jones, and they literally they probably put more effort into the lineups than you and I did when all said and done. So I'm not surprised. So very cool. Mac Jones definitely took down. You said 3 out of the 5 categories.
Well, 6 if you count the overall. So 3 out of the 6.
Yep. What was the penalty? Was she playing a bunch of different penalty cards, or was it you had access to all the lineups as it was going?
Yeah, so I mean, I can share the overall statistics. So these are like all of the teams and the stats that they had throughout the year, right? So as far as penalties go, the top scoring team, if you just did the same team over and over again, was 97 points. So Mac Jones had 108 points. So you can clearly see that the moves that were made even surpassed like a team that was getting penalties. She was definitely playing the matchups.
Okay.
Special teams too. I mean, special teams, a lot of points go to punts. So, the 248 points, I mean, I guess Monday Night Sauce had over 200 as well, but not too many 200 plus points in that category. So it was definitely an important one. And then everything else, I mean, she was definitely on par with. I think at the beginning of the season, the win-loss card bit her a few times, but I think she righted that ship pretty quickly.
Yeah, man. Let's take it to the next level, because I'm excited to talk about the playoff pool here. So you're gonna have to stop me from talking about that at some point. So let's keep moving.
Yeah, definitely. So let's just run through the regular season awards before we jump into the playoffs, because I think that's going to be the biggest announcement that we're going to be discussing today. Obviously, because playoffs are coming up this week, so we want to make sure that everybody's aware of it. So, as we pointed out, most overall points, Mac Joneson for unpoints. Most offensive points, there was actually a tie between Mass Holes and Surviving the Survivor. So that award is actually shared for the inaugural season. Most defensive points, Bladder Kickers, defense wins championships. As we mentioned, special teams and penalties both go to Mac Joneson. You won the most win-loss points, so we'll gloss over that very quickly here. Least overall points. Let's talk about that one, because this is a league that, does somehow have an emphasis on losing. America's UNfantasy team. So theoretically, their teams were the highest performing in the actual league of football. But
so if it was a regular league, which is no fun, then they would have won.
Correct.
By a lot.
But as you can see, very, very poor performance from the win-loss card. And, just really had no chance throughout the rest of the season.
It sucks, man. When you started this stuff, you pulled 5 cards, right? And that was the whole thing. You don't know what you're going to get, but one of each category was a win-loss card. We definitely wanted to design it where people could win to get more cards in their hand. He got a couple. He definitely won some stuff. He included one, a Battle Bunny, I think, because he lost so much. But it was never a win-loss card that allowed him to kind of get back into the mix. So it is what it is. But I guess every fantasy team always makes fun of the loser. Anyway, we're just going to make fun of the winner today.
Yep. So some of the specialty awards that I guess we came up with, and, this is just to commemorate some of the efforts that have been put in, some of the things that we saw throughout the season. First and foremost, the league MVP, the most vocal player. Congratulations, Team Goal Stoppers. I don't think there was any doubt in that one. Linda has been a pillar in this inaugural season. I know she had a blast week after week. There was phone calls, there was text messages, there was comments in this chat, there was comments in the Telegram chat. I'll arguably say that this league wouldn't be as fun without her in it. So
arguably, there's no argument about that stuff. Super fun, super engaging. She basically made our stuff, this thing work. So kept us company all along with that. And when she was on here doing it, man, like I was scared for my job. She was legit and awesome. We got to get her back on.
Definitely. So looking forward to continuing the playoff run with her in it, hopefully, and seeing how much hair she pulls out with the stress of what we're going to introduce with this playoff squares pool here. So next award, we got the Stockbroker Award, which is, the one who conducted the most trades. And that one goes to your boy, Kale. Thank you very much. So congratulations on that. I know there were some question marks and criticisms on the deals that he made at the beginning of the year. But he kept just
to refresh from people's memory. Like, you're the one that called him in another room to make the trades with him. So the reason he won that, I feel like you have to give him something, because you were like egging those trades on. You took advantage of him a little bit. I wasn't even there. But
I recall my phone ringing, but right. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll revisit that.
Yep.
The best unfantasy team name. Now I know you're excited about this one, so I'll let you announce it.
I don't think there's any other team name, in my opinion, anyway, that is as good. And there's a lot of good ones here, but Straight ETH Homie is like legit, right? We've chatted about it before. Just happens. Mr. Jack is up in the cold tundra of Minnesota, where the Vikings play. One of their best players of all time, Randy Moss, with the Patriots also, but with the Vikings first. had a very funny answer that was popular back in the day, where they asked how he was going to pay his fine. He said, "Straight cash, homie." We're in a new little world here, still cash world, but we're also in the ETH world a little bit. So straight ETH, homie, was perfect for him. You develop a lisp a little bit if you say it 3 times fast. So I'll just stop talking about that name, but it's legit.
Awesome. So the final, I guess, annual award for the league for this, like the overall league, is something that I think is very well deserving, but it merits the ability to point it out, and I love the name for it. It's the Steinbrenner Award.
Of course, you would.
Obviously in honor of the boss, but it's awarded to the player who has acquired the most amount of playing cards throughout the course of the season, and to be to or not to be, definitely deserving of that award.
Yep, he went ham on these, and a few people did, and he did, and again he also pulled some and got 3 epic fail backgrounds, which there are there's very little chance that normally is going to happen. So very cool. Happy to gift him a Spartan NFT Battle Bunny.
Yep. The final 2 awards were actually sub-leagues that were created as part of this league. I think we mentioned them a few times. One of them was the Marketers League, which was a compilation of 2 different marketing groups that were competing head-to-head. And then obviously the overall winner of those respective groups would be awarded that particular award. So the Marketers Award, the Marketers League champion actually goes to Goal Stoppers. So congratulations, Linda, again on that one.
Yep. Are we telling prizes now, or I feel like we should be throwing? I can't hold it in anymore on this stuff, right? So
yeah, if you want, I mean, I know you're itching to get to the playoff pool, but yeah. let's talk about the prizes, I guess, man. I mean,
we'll just start where we left off with this one. So Linda, as part of the mark, she knocked that out. She's going to get a signed autographed copy of Mark Schaefer's brand new book that just came out this week, Belonging to the Brand. So she's going to get a signed not by me, by Mark Schaefer, which is very cool for winning that Marketers League. Mark played in here as well. He was what was his team name? I forget his team name, which is crazy.
Cumulative Rise.
Cumulative Rise, that's right. So brand new book. She's going to get an autographed copy from Mark that I'll get over to her, which is very cool. What's cool about that book too, Belonging to the Brand, Why Community is the Last Great Marketing Strategy. Frank and Krista make an appearance in that book. The Battle Bunnies is mentioned as a case study for how to build communities the right way. So I'm very excited to get that more out there as well. So, but Linda can read all about it with her signed copy for that award.
Yep. And then the other sub league to this UnFantasy League was actually the Battle Bunnies League, and the champion of that happened to be Monday Night Sauce, who ended up in the Loser Bowl runner-up and ended up 3rd place overall. So Monday Night Sauce takes down the Battle Bunnies Championship award, and that also comes with a signed book, but that's a little bit of a different story.
Yep. So it's going to come from Frank and Krista signed book that is going to be released this month or shortly thereafter, of the first ever novel of the Battle Bunnies, which is The Battle Bunnies and the Unlikely Spartan. It is legit. The audiobook and the physical book are done and about to be just waiting for the distribution to be put in place. But she's going to get an autograph from Frank and Krista, a Battle Bunnies novel book, which will be very cool.
Yep, definitely. And super excited for that book to come out, both in the physical and the audio version, because that's exciting. Mm-hmm. So with that, let's run through some of the other prizes, since you threw me in the deep
There's
end.
No more books here in the prizes. We got too much reading to do with those ones. So those are the last 2 books of the prizes. They get a little bigger here. So
Mac Jones in for points for cleaning house on the categories, and obviously the first overall in points. Why don't you tell her what she's going to win with that one?
Well, she's already won some stuff throughout the week, the weekly awards here too, as we chatted about. So she's won a Series 1 Battle Bunny. She has also won an Invasion Collection Battle Bunny, which obviously comes with access to the Battle Bunnies and the world. And she's trying to figure out that Discord. But the Spartans are hard to get, man. The Spartans, the floor price is like point what
Point six.
0.6, right? And that's gone down. So there's just not a many of them. There's only 300. The Spartans again, this is a utility based storytelling franchise. So the Spartans have come with a ton of stuff. They just came with a free Euligan, which is another NFT part of that lore. The Spartans is the alpha of that of the Battle Bunnies. You want a Spartan; they're just hard to come by. But now, Mac Jones and for Unpoint is gonna, along with their Series 1, is going to get a Genesis Spartan collection with a collector card. So originally, when you minted the Spartans, you got a signed collector card encapsulated by Frank and Krista. They're mostly gone. People have bought those and sold those from there. There's a few left on the site, I think, but the collector cards, the ones that match up to your NFTs, they're hard to get. I don't know if you can get any more, but we got one back in the day for these prizes specifically for this, and Lisa Mac Jones and Front Points is gonna get that, and she is going to get, I don't know if we say it now because we didn't talk about the squares pool we got going
Just
on here, but
an extra something when we talk about the squares pool. We'll just leave it at that for now.
Yep.
To a B or not to a B for the winning the participation trophy also wins a VSP. This is something that we've been talking about since the beginning of this league. That is arguably a blue chip project. You referenced it many times that, at the end of all this, when the dust settles and, NFTs are what they are, there's going to be a Mount Rushmore. And that's one of the projects that'll definitely be up there. So we're excited that that's going into some good hands, a sports fan, somebody who's into crypto, Web3, NFTs. That's a great project to be a part of. I know you and I are both in on it, and, excited to see that paid forward here.
Yep. Yeah, VSP is awesome, and it's one of the projects that we looked at very early on just to understand their game mechanics. It's a utility based project as well, so and it's sports, right? So there's some activations from there. Floor price on that, I don't know what it is, but it's a couple $100 or something along those lines. So and that's for the consolation prize. So very happy that one of the cool things about doing the UNfantasy Football League in this way is a lot of the communities that we've been able to partner with or work towards. We were able to get their NFTs in the hands of other people's, right? So, and we didn't put any that we don't believe in or that we're not in ourselves. So it's very cool to see other people get to experience the ones that we've vetted out in our own worlds. But that's definitely one of them that you and I have enjoyed since the beginning.
Yep. Definitely. So congrats on that. The Team Goal Stoppers, not only are they getting the signed book, but because they won the MVP, the league MVP, they're also getting a Battle Bunnies Valkyrie, which is kind of a 2-for-1 on that, because all Valkyries will actually
not kind of.
Well, it's definitely a 2-for-1 on that, because all Valkyries will be also gifted a dragon egg from the collection, which is coming up later on this year.
Yep. So Valkyries, I don't think you can get them right now. So again, Battle Bunny is a different project that we work with Frank and Krista on, but you can't get. I don't think you can get Valkyries. The Valkyries, the part of the utility for owning the Valkyries, which is a female Viking, is you get dragon eggs, a free dragon egg when the dragons come, and the dragons are about to come because we've been moving along in the Battle Bunnies world, and that's the next thing to come. So that is not a slouch of a prize either. The last one that sold, they sell well above the floor of that project.
Yep, definitely do. I see Jack throwing in some comments. I think he wants a prize too. Well, we got good news for you, Jack. I know you're a big fan of Frank and his art. Frank has actually a limited collection that he distributes or sells very sporadically. And he was kind enough to donate one of those pieces to a giveaway in this league.
Let's show it. We could
pull it up.
We could put it up.
That's actually going in your hands, my friend. So, although I can't really be nice to Jack this week. He's kind of my mortal enemy.
Oh, man, I forgot about football. Other than this, I'm surprised you even pulled me on here. I'm happy being here, but Patriots are out. So you and Jack are going at it. I'm surprised he's not talking some more trash than that he usually does towards you.
Yeah, I know, but it is a really cool one. Here it is. It is a Lenatra art original, and again, this is very similar art style, obviously, to the Battle Bunnies, but it's definitely not. As you can see, it's a 0.2 price point, so it is pushing for over $250, and they are very limited. He does have various editions on it, so some people are trying to collect all of them. So there's definitely a marketplace for that. But congrats on that, Jack. And then, a lot of these are going to be commemorated as NFTs as part of the overall collection too. So in addition to obviously receiving this, you're also going to receive a commemoration of, the best UNfantasy team name award as well. So Bladder Kickers, for obviously winning Loser Bowl 1, they're actually getting that physical trophy that you had referenced. They're getting that one special thing that we are going to talk about soon. But they're also getting another football project, a pretty big football project, which is actually licensed by the National Football League, and it's called Rarity League. And basically, what it is it's just a series of all the teams and respective helmets and different designs. So obviously, Bladder Kickers they had the parody logo of Cincinnati, so they will be receiving a Cincinnati one just to complement that.
Yep. And that's like the utility of that. You get to play a cool game that actually is super fun. So I've been playing that. It's very cool to see that they're going to get that. Also, Linda's about to leave. I just sent you a message on Discord, man. But Linda's going to get an NFT trophy for getting just short, right? 1 yard short of the overall standings. I just want to show the inspiration for it. Sorry, man. Didn't mean to do that to you.
Sorry. My messages kept popping up on the shared screen here.
There you go. So this is going to be how Linda's trophy is going to start to look. It's going to be an NFT version, but this is the 1 yard short of the overall trophy that's going to be there. I heard that we got that from your wife. We got doing that stuff. We said like, hey, how big is Mike's? And that's where it became this trophy. So thank you to her for doing that. And now Linda is going to get that digital version to keep as well.
He's been sitting on that since week 3, waiting for that, hoping that I would be the one that finished second, so that joke would be even funnier. But obviously, you failed on that one, or I failed because I finished 5th. But
no, I failed on the joke. But I just found that thing today, and it was like looks so perfect. It actually kind of works because it's like this short, but it's like the finger is just not quite up. So when that thing rotates around, you can actually see the fingers just not quite up there as number 1. So that I can't wait for that. So hopefully Linda catches the replay and sees part of her trophy.
Yep. And then the final thing, and I guess she'll see this portion of it after she's done with her meeting, but Linda actually launched an NFT project over the holidays called BizGlitch. And we are actually going to purchase one of her NFTs, and we are going to give it out as a prize as well. So excited for that. It's a really cool art project, but there's some utility with respect to business advice and, different emails with different tips on, what mistakes not to make in the business world. Obviously it gives you access to Linda as well. We can pull up that just to kind of show what that looks like. So this is her collection right now. As you can see, it's very detailed in the art for sure. But there's definitely some varieties on this. So we're gonna scoop one of those up, and we're gonna use them as a giveaway as well.
Yeah, I think that did we say it goes to Monday Night Sauce.
Monday Night Sauce, yep.
So Monday Night Sauce, who almost won the championship, is going to get one of Linda's biz glitches, which exciting, man. I think part of the stuff that we've been doing and in the NFT world is it's been very fun, man. You find like-minded projects and you kind of help support each other. So taking some of the stuff here for prizes and supporting them is like, it's a no-brainer. You can, I don't like to say kill 2 birds with 1 stone when Krista's listening, because she loves animals. So I say like hatch 2 birds with 1 egg is what I like to say these days.
Hatch 2 birds with 1 egg. That's
Kind of fits. I feel it could be like Biz Glitch too or something, Linda, if she's listening. So what are you looking at now?
no, I'm just making sure that I didn't miss anybody. I think we got it all. So congrats to everybody on the awards. Congrats on the prizes.
Yep.
We were really excited to announce those prizes. I think it's time that we move on to the big announcement for today's Trash Talk Tuesday. We are not done here. If you guys didn't get that from the email or the intro video, we're having too much damn fun. And I don't think we need to put it to bed just quite yet. We obviously had to think about some different scenarios on how to incorporate some of the UNfantasy stuff and the way that the game has been played throughout the season. But I think we got a really cool concept here, man.
I know we do that. So again, this will be there'll be some things that carry over till next season, but who wants to wait till next season for that? So we got a playoff squares pool lineup. So I think everybody that even isn't sports fans is familiar somewhat of the game squares. I think you call them boxes, and it took me like you and I fighting over to call them boxes or squares. But simple game, fun game. We're going to add a little twist to it that actually allows you to kind of win some squares week to week as well.
Yep. So let's just be clear up front here. This will be an additional buy-in. So anybody who wants to participate, you could have not participated in the UNfantasy League. You could have participated in the UNfantasy League. Either way you look at it, this is open to anybody and everybody. To make it, more interesting, and obviously this is going to be a playoff square pool that's built up now all the way up and through the actual Super Bowl. So the squares that you're fighting for or trying to earn, I suppose, will be all useful, will all be used throughout the game of the Super Bowl. So if anybody is not familiar with this, we'll explain this several times over the next couple of weeks. But bottom line is that right now you're looking at 100 boxes. Okay, all of these boxes are blank. As over time, as people come into the league and over the weeks, as they earn more boxes, they will stake their claim in one of the boxes. All of this is completely random. Once all the boxes are filled, we'll do a drawing between 0 and 9, and we'll put it for the NFC, and we'll do another drawing for 0 for 9, and we'll put it for the AFC. It could be in any random order. It could be 4, 7, 6, 2, 1, 7. We don't know what that order is going to be yet. And the way it works is that during the Super Bowl, at the end of respective quarters, first quarter, halftime, third quarter, and then the final score, whatever the last digit of that team's score is, coordinates with the other last digit on the other team, and that would be the winner of that particular square. Pretty sure I just confused everyone.
No, man. I mean, I think people know what squares are. I don't know if it's helpful to show the graphic that we have for it yet, or we wait till that a little bit later. But yeah, basically you're gonna get a box or a square, as we'll call it, and there's going to be two numbers that will correspond to that square, and you want the score of the Super Bowl game to correspond with those two numbers that you have. So here we are. This is going to be the playoff squares pool. You're going to have your numbers here, and you're also going to have a little bonus. It's almost like a little scratch ticket. I'm not gambling here. We're having fun. But your numbers and your bonus teams, the bottom of those, you'll scratch those off. They're going to be some random teams in here. So there's a little NFT component stuff, randomization. There'll be teams that are in the playoffs. And if you get those teams, that end up going to the Super Bowl, that'll be a good thing. So it'll be random from that as well.
Yep. So this will be another NFT that will be. It almost acts like your owner's pass. It's like basically your ticket into the playoff squares pool. So with that, everything is actually live on the website right now. The buy-in is 0.08 ETH, which is roughly about $100. The way that ETH is priced right now, you can make that purchase either with ETH or with a credit card. There are limited spots on this, so definitely want to jump in on the early stages. And then we'll explain how you can ultimately how you can earn more squares throughout the course of the playoffs. So all of that is activated right now on the website. You can scoop up those passes and enter and basically solidify your spot into the league. So the way it's going to work on this one and how it differs from the way that the game has been played throughout the regular season. So the way it works is you're going to get your playoff squares pool pass. Okay. Say that 5 times fast. That again is your ticket into the league. Now, unlike the regular season where you were limited to only selecting teams or tokens for what NFTs you held in the playing cards, instead it's open to all of the teams that are currently in that given round. So right now in the wild card round, all of these teams are playing this week. So you have the ability to select each team, the team that you want in each of the respective scoring categories. The catch, you cannot select the same team twice, meaning you cannot pick Miami for offense and for defense. You have to pick 5 different teams for each of the respective scoring categories. The point system works exactly the same as the regular season. +10 for giveaways, minus 0.1 for points scored, etc. All of that doesn't change. The standings will be updated accordingly after each of the respective games. You'll be able to see people's lineups after that lineup has been locked in. And, therefore that people, can have the ability to select their teams without any influence. And that's going to happen throughout the first 3 rounds of the actual playoffs. So right now we're in the wild card round. The next round is going to have half of these teams plus the teams that are on the bye. And then the conference championship, that's where it's going to get a little interesting because you have very limited options on the teams that you would be able to select. The conference championship is going to have 2 win-loss categories. So that means you have the potential of having 50 points from that scoring category right away. You're basically going to select which 2 teams are going to lose and not make it to the Super Bowl.
And we'll have all of this stuff, all the rules and stuff there. Obviously, get us up in the Telegram. But essentially, it's the same game that we've played, and you don't have to have been in the league to be able to play it. And if you're not, and we'll explain it also for Jack as well. Even though he's been here with us all season, you're going to get, this is not to do with NFTs. You're not getting any NFTs other than your ticket in or your card that's going to give you your squares numbers. But you're also going to be, there's going to be an ability to pick games and pick lineups that will earn you more squares. So if your offense, if you think, Jack, if you think the Giants offense is going to be the worst, you think they're going to throw up a ton of interceptions and get turnovers and not get any points, you would pick the Giants as your worst team for your offense. You'll get a champ. You can only pick the Giants once. You get an opportunity to go through the defense. Who do you think is going to not pick up interceptions and give up a lot of points all the way down? Just like we've been playing all year, but it is super simplified. These are not NFT. You don't have to have these NFTs in your lineup and your cards like we did through the game. This is just a drop down to it's like a pick 'em in some ways. That's pretty simple, and you'll be able to earn more squares. But you're going to get squares initially in the buy-in anyway.
Yeah. So when you buy in, you will be given a guarantee square for the pool. You have the ability to earn those squares by participating and actually doing well in the point structure. So the teams that you select, whatever that point total is, how high you are in the standings, you have the opportunity to win more squares. Winning more squares gives you more opportunities to win during the Super Bowl quarters, the one that we described earlier. So obviously it's just a way to kind of earn more ways to have a better chance of getting different varieties of numbers and obviously increasing your odds to win during the Super Bowl.
Yep. And there'll be giveaways throughout too, just like we've done all season. So we are every week we'll keep the score. Mike's amazing at putting all that stuff and organizing it together. You'll get some giveaways. Earn some points either way just by buying in here. It's like we do this all the time, man. I think my grandmother, Doc Special, was always doing these squares when she was around. So it was $50 a square or something along those lines, and it was super fun. So fun family tradition. We'll get to bring it on here with a little twist that allows people to actually earn more squares, earn more things. The prizes is completely different from what we did on this one, and it's very good. So it's going to be very fun and very rewarding from a fun standpoint, but also the people that end up taking the squares down. It's going to be fun as well.
Yep. And obviously, these choices will change week to week based on whatever teams are remaining in the playoffs. So, as of right now, like for example, I'm playing Minnesota. Minnesota is going to lose this week. Therefore, they won't be around for me to pick next week. So, just keep that in mind that every week you're going to want to come back and set your lineup. There is no automatic lineup that will be set, unlike the regular season. So if you fail to set your lineup, you will not be given points for that particular week in the overall standings. Should literally take maybe 3 minutes to set your lineup. Just throw in whatever team name you want, whatever email address, and then obviously the different choices for each respective scoring category, and just click submit. You'll get a success message, and you also get a copy of the lineup that you had set in your email. As long as that's submitted 15 minutes before kickoff, it's going to count towards the overall scoring.
So I'm leaving this comment up just because it's just great, and I agree with it. Bye Giants. So we're just gonna leave that up there. Looks good right underneath you in there. So typically, of like how we set this up from the beginning is the same way we're doing this stuff. You can just buy in squares like we've typically always done, or you can have fun and engage and win some more squares. So it's like, I hate using this analogies because it's overused, but it's like a square, an NFL Super Bowl squares pool on steroids, right? It's not just here's your money. What are my squares? Am I lucky to win? There's that if you want it to be, but it's also let me win some more damn squares because I know my football like Jack does, and I think that's going to be fun. I've never seen anything like this done before. Have you?
No, especially in an unfantasy context, right? I mean, like, we are going throughout the playoffs to root for people to suck and therefore lose, and then potentially not have the ability to play them again. I don't think that this is definitely a first for something like that. Because typically you want to survive in a playoff. You want to keep going. You want the teams to do well, and to, that's kind of one of the reasons why we opted for this way versus actually having the playing cards. Because we encourage losing. Unfortunately, in football, when you lose, you're done, and therefore those cards are useless. So I think this is a great solution to that. It allows us to continuously play the game mechanic that we've all learned and grown to love throughout the season. Some of us did better than others. Some of us did better than others without even realizing it. So it's going to be an interesting play.
Who did better between us? Just we're here.
You did finish one spot ahead of me, so congratulations on that. A lot of that was viewing my lineup and selecting the same cards. So there was obviously strategy that we'll have to work on and perfect as we head into next season. But tip of the cap, credit where credit's due. I only give credit to the podium, so it looks like you missed the podium. But hey, fourth place is the new second place, right?
There's 70 teams in this league, man. So I feel like top 4 is pretty legit. I feel like that's podium-ish. You and I have the inside joke of our ish friend, but so good news. Bladder kickers again. Kid just keeps winning before he's even out of here. He is going to get. We're going to buy him in, right? So this little nice lad is going to get into the square pool. So is Mac Jones in front points. So for winning the overall standings, she's jumping in this thing on us. So we're buying for that. So her prizes, again, Spartan Genesis with the collector card, signed, sealed, and delivered, I guess, some song. And also adding into this playoff pool squares with chance to like really do well here with the prizes. And Jack's hounding me to figure out what we got here. We'll put all of that in here. It's going to be very fun and very well worth it. So what else you got to say, man?
Well, I mean, with respect to the playoff squares pool, I think that's really it for now. We're going to summarize all this, and we're going to put it into a neat little package on the website. We're also going to send out one more email before the weekend's games that just basically break all this down with respect to the squares pool. Leaving everything from the regular season in the recap email that we just sent out. We're going to be looking towards the future in that one. So everything should be kind of laid out pretty easily. If it's not, we're always around in the Telegram channel to drop us a line. You can always reach out to us. There's obviously the commish at unfan.xyz email if you have any questions or you need any clarification on any of the mechanics of it. But I think for the most part, it's going to be one of those learn as you go. If you guys want in, the ability to scoop up that NFT is available now. It's important to note that the NFT, as it's minted currently, will get revealed in the next couple days as we kind of jumble around and sort out the different logos and different number patterns that are going to be on the NFT. We're still finalizing some of that, but securing your token will guarantee you a spot in this pool, and then everything will get revealed later on in the week before the weekend's games.
Yep. So we're only gonna do like 44 of these or something along those lines, give or take. But it can be from any. You don't need to be in the league, right? So there'll be other people that'll be joining this pool that are separate from the league. So definitely jump on in if you want to. I'm excited about it. It definitely gives that element of the old Squares game that we're used to, that our grandmas taught us, but also putting a little different spin on it and keeping the party going, where we can talk a little trash and have a little game of skill and compete with each other. And you fall just short once again.
Maybe we'll see. Playoffs are a different season, man. So we'll see. We'll probably both finish dead last. Who knows?
I hope.
All right, so let's unless there's anything else, let's run through the playoff games. I mean, I put the schedule on the website. It's up on the desktop version right now. We'll get it up on the mobile version after for reference. But kickoff starts Saturday, man, and it starts in the NFC West. Seattle pulled off a miracle on Sunday. They hit the goalpost on the potentially game-winning field goal. Threw it into overtime, ended up winning it in overtime, and then they needed help from Detroit to beat Green Bay on Sunday night. So everybody in Seattle became a Lions fan. Seattle heading to San Francisco. I mean, San Fran's they've been playing unbelievable football over the last few weeks. Their run game is just at a different level since McCaffrey has gotten there. Mitchell came back and he had a great game. Purdy's basically playing as a third string quarterback, but looking like a number one. Who do you have losing this game?
I don't know if we should tell, because we got the one I was just accused by you of picking my lineup based on you too. Like, we're about to be in a playoff squares pool where you can win more squares for the Super Bowl by picking the team. So, I mean,
we can only pick one team, right? So we're going to analyze all these teams. So, people have the opportunity whether to listen or not listen to us. I think if there's any consistency we've had throughout the season is that we have no clue what we're talking about.
That is true. That is true. And I have no clue even more so. And I have no clue to start, but I have no clue even more so because after the Patriots lost, I desensitized with football and stopped thinking about it until today, till here. So I would say Seattle is going to lose that game.
I agree, especially that it's in Santa Clara. So that will kick off the playoffs Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So again, if you're in this playoff pool and that's something that you wanted to participate in, make sure that any teams that you want in that particular game are set before that time slot.
Mm-hmm.
The night game on Saturday, arguably, in my opinion, the game of the week. Although most people wouldn't have predicted it, Chargers fly across the country and play the AFC South champion Jacksonville Jaguars.
Somebody's got to win that division. So I don't think maybe we give them too much credit. I say Jacksonville loses that game.
I am going to say that San Diego, that LA loses that game. I'm on Team Jacksonville, man. I really liked what I saw over the last couple of weeks from them. I kind of hinted at it a few weeks ago that somehow in their stadium they tend to have a little bit of magic. So I'm not saying they go far in the playoffs, but I think they definitely take care of business against a team that has to fly across the country.
I'm saying San Diego Chargers is like the equivalent of like writing 2022 in your checks, but worse.
Yep.
So we still do it. Although the Commanders, I don't call them the Redskins that much anymore unless I'm purposeful about it. But
I do it all the time.
Always fall for that. So we differ there, at least unless you're trying to throw me off. I think Jacksonville loses. You think San Diego, I just did again and not on purpose. the Chargers lose. Next game, Sunday, we got the Dolphins and the Bills.
Yeah, so I mean, we didn't really talk about what happened in the New England game, but tons of emotion, and obviously special teams had a big part in that victory for Buffalo. Okay, so let's talk about like how that whole scenario kind of played out, and really what could happen throughout these playoffs. I mean, if Buffalo keeps winning, there is a potential that they do not play a true road game, meaning that if Kansas City and Buffalo meet in the AFC Championship, it will be played in a neutral location due to everything that happened in Week 17 and Buffalo obviously having that game canceled against Cincinnati. So that being said, Buffalo kind of has the same advantage of winning the conference, where all teams have to kind of roll through them before they have to play in a neutral location. Miami barely got by the Jets. The Jets really do have a good defense, but I think this is the end of the road for Miami, man. I think Buffalo is just riding a, a really strong emotional roller coaster train right now, and division game. Although they've played well against them this year, Tua I don't think is going to play, and without him, that offense is disgusting.
Yeah, I was never a fan on them anyway, and they were ironically enough those Finns fans were saying, as they like to call themselves, which is very weird. You would call yourself that, but they were calling for Super Bowl when they were 8-3. At some point, they thought they were going to make the Super Bowl. I guess they still might. Maybe the joke will be on me. But that is the first or second logo that we ever made. I forget at this point, but I think that's going to hold true to form. The Dolphins lose. I also don't think that emotional shit really carries weight. I mean, it did, it did a little bit, but I think that might be overrated. I just think they're going to stomp the Dolphins, and people will say it's for, number 3. But I think they're just a good team. They got a good advantage with if they do make it to the conference finals. So,
well, maybe in a parallel universe, if that issue didn't happen with Hamlin, maybe they don't score an opening kickoff touchdown return, and then have another one later in the game against the Patriots. Who knows? But I think we agree on that one. And I think that 8-3 comment you made was true, because I was actually at that game when they went 8-3 against the Browns, and everybody was singing Super Bowl in Miami.
What I love about Jack, because he has season tickets to the Vikings, he sends me really cool pictures, and it's like, you want to be there. You sent us all a picture of you in the bathroom line at that game. So,
no, that was I was trying to make a joke about that was the actual photo of Miami warming up. But clearly you picture me taking a leak, and that's where you're running with your joke. So we'll leave it at that.
It's my hand.
Speaking of Jack and my Minnesota, here's where we're going to butt heads, man. I'm going with the upset here. I'm going with the Giants. I think the Giants defense stepped up in Week 17 when they had to. They played great. They had some key turnovers. I think they had a defensive score as well. Barkley has been battling an injury, but I think giving him the week off helped. The only concern I have is the receiving core with the Giants. I think that Daniel Jones has found a nice little formula with these little quarterback runs, designed runs, where he's finding some space. Minnesota had a little bit of trouble with the running game. Their passing game really hasn't flown through Jefferson over the last couple weeks. Maybe they're trying to give him a little bit of a break, but this kid Osborne has really stepped up big. It's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm not the biggest Cousins fan. I'm going with the Giants pulling it out. I'm going Minnesota losing at home.
I don't know, man. I didn't really watch one Giants snap probably all year, so I have no real clue on it. I was never really that impressed with Minnesota, but they do keep winning. You were actually every time I said during our golf sessions, I always said I'm not impressed with Minnesota. You were always like, but they find ways to win. So in that logic, maybe you should worry a little bit on that stuff. And anybody if you say the Giants have a great defense, that's what scares me, is a shitty team or a shitty record like the Giants jumping in here with a great defense. Obviously, they've proven what they can do. If that really does happen, I'm going to go with the Giants to lose. Wouldn't be surprised either way. But I think this is good for Minnesota. I like this matchup for them. I don't think there's another weaker team in the NFC that they would go after maybe Seattle. That's it.
We haven't gotten to the Monday night game yet, so hold your horses.
Mm-hmm.
Rematch of literally last week, Baltimore at Cincinnati. This will be again in Cincinnati. Kind of had a different feel for the way that game was going to be played. I don't know, most people probably know about the coin flip scenario that could have happened if Cincinnati lost that game in week 18. Had a nice little end zone celebration to commemorate that. But either way, I think Cincinnati has just been playing very, very, very good football. They actually showed it on the first drive against Buffalo in week 17, hammered it home against Baltimore this past week. Baltimore looks lost without Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he's going to be back. They're very skeptical on it. They're saying it's his knee. I just, even with him in there, man, I don't see them marching into Cincinnati and pulling out a victory. So I'm going Baltimore's going home after this week.
Yep, I agree with that. Since he's looking good.
So surprisingly, the Monday night game, and you brought up a good point on why this was probably the case. These are two teams that just have not been playing well. I mean, Tampa squeaked into the playoffs after like an abysmal NFC South collective division. Seems like at some point nobody wanted to win that division and therefore get into the playoffs. Dallas, you know how Dallas fans are. They win one quarter and all of a sudden everybody's screaming Super Bowl. They've played like shit over the last couple of weeks. There's literally no other way to say it. Dak has just been awful. The only one who's really showed up, I guess, is CeeDee Lamb, but just getting the ball in that guy's hands, he's just taking licks and pops everywhere. I don't know how this plays out for them going down to Tampa. Obviously, it's Brady, and it's playoff time for Brady. Who knows what that means? Week 17, he did find his little connection with Mike Evans again. I think they scored 3 touchdowns to really solidify the division victory. I'm going Cowboys lose on this one, man. But this is two garbage teams, I think.
Well, look, I think if you're looking at these teams on the screen like we are, the NFL is about making money. This is no brainer. The team, the one that you put on Monday night, if that's where you're going to get your most ad revenue, people will tune in just to see the Patriots or the Cowboys lose. So you're going to have a lot of people tuning in just to see the Cowboys lose. You'll also have Brady, and they'll be talking, is this his last game? Or people want to see Brady, or dads will say like, hey, come over here and stay up late. You get to see Brady. So I think from an NFL standpoint, this is definitely the game to throw on there. It's probably the one that I would want to watch the most anyway. And I am not a Brady. I'm like on pause of being a Brady fan. So I don't think Dallas loses. What?
On pause. So when he retires and everything is good and he's in Canton, then then you're back to being a Brady fan.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, why would I be a fan of him now? He's not a Patriots. A lot of people jumped that bandwagon, but I think they were weak-minded New England as up there. I think no way. I'm not afraid. I'm not putting put it this way. I'm not putting a Brady jersey on again, and I have some really expensive, nice ones that I'm not touching until hopefully I'm still fitting them after this binge I've been going on. But I'm not touching them again until he retires. So it's probably this year. But yeah, man, I'm not a Brady fan.
So who are you going with on that?
I think the Bucks lose.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. Well, the bye weeks go to Kansas City, who is watching how all this plays out, as well as Philly. Both of those teams, I guess, definitely need the break. They've been battling some respective injuries themselves. So we'll see how all that plays out. But that's really how that's really only the only scheduled games for the wild card weekend. Obviously we have 6 games. 6 teams are coming out of this one. So that pool of teams to select from in your playoff lineup will definitely dwindle down. So big decisions to make this week with this. I think this is going to be one of the tougher ones to make calls on.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl, and who do you think is going to win it? Just looking at it at this point right here.
I mean, it's really hard to go up against somebody like Kansas City, who's been playing well, especially since, I guess if Buffalo continues their trend, they have to go through there. I really, really think San Francisco's playing great football right now. So it's going to be hard for anybody to really dethrone them, especially as the number 2 seed. Everything has to roll through San Fran. I think Philly has had a little bit of a hiccup, and they've obviously had injuries to Jalen Hurts. The bye week will help, but who knows? Last time Philly finished first in the NFC, they won. They won the Super Bowl against who they play that year?
I don't know. The Patriots lost once and beat them once.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It was the Patriots.
Mhm.
So I'm going San Francisco, and I think for the AFC, for the AFC, I'm gonna go with Kansas City, man, and I'm gonna go
Okay.
with the Niners winning it.
Okay. That's crazy. I don't know, dude. I feel like it's gonna be one of those Super Bowls that I don't really give a shit except for the what type of dip we have to walk around and eat. So I think Kansas City, it's either gonna be Kansas City or Buffalo. I hope it's Kansas City. Weird to say. From the NFC, who the hell knows? This Purdy guy, he's a third string rookie or close to it, right? So
He's Mr. Irrelevant,
yep.
actually.
Right. So I mean, it's going to be a great story. I mean, hopefully, storyline wise, you get San Francisco and you get, I guess people will say Buffalo, but Kansas City for me, but or Buffalo storyline wise against San Francisco. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty lackluster. Like I don't really have any interest in seeing the Eagles go against the Ravens or the Bengals, even for that matter, who I guess they have a chance. So I would say the Chiefs against you guys. You and Jack are saying Kansas City. I would. I feel like Minnesota. This is if Minnesota's ever going to have a chance anytime soon. Like this is the chance to squeak in because Philadelphia doesn't impress me. Dallas, obviously, Tampa Bay. I don't know. Do I feel like I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go with the Vikings, and I'm gonna say the Chiefs beat the Vikings in the Super Bowl in Arizona this year.
Wow, that's almost worse than not going to begin with. I mean, Minnesota has lost what, Jack, 4 Super Bowls?
Well, I don't know. He would know if he'll put that
I
in there. I feel like he's doing it wrong, and we're doing it right on some levels. He can't do this UNfantasy pool here, the playoff squares pool, because he's spending $1,000 to go to the game. You're supposed to sell those things, man. You have season tickets to the Raiders. For years, I had just sold all. Like I was riding it with my Patriots season tickets. Those AFC Championship games, which they went to like every year, I would sell for a ton that would pay for all of those things. And if I ever won the lottery, the playoff lottery for that, I would have easily been able to fund Super Bowl tickets from there. You got to sell them, Jack, because this stuff is more fun, especially if the Vikings lose.
Well, I mean, obviously it'll be a much more inexpensive victory party if he does sell them and not go. At least it'll be, yeah, but I made money.
Yep.
So look, man, either way, I just hope it's good games. Like I said, what do you think is going to be the best game of the week?
Best game of the week. You're probably right, but not because it's good, just because they're evenly matched. Is the Jacksonville and Chargers game? It's probably the best. That's probably going to be the best game of the week. Everybody's kind of faltered. Everybody's kind of not impressed on some levels sometimes this year. So it's really very unpredictable. I mean, the reason I didn't probably get my overall winning all for this league here is because I went heavy, thinking Dallas was going to smoke the Redskins Commanders, and they sucked. So I got shit points for that. So who the hell knows, man?
Yep. No, it's playoffs again are a different time of year, right? And it's weird. I mean, like I was looking at this too. A lot of people put a lot of heavy emphasis on home field advantage, but I almost feel like that's not a thing in the wild card round. I feel like a lot of the road teams do kind of sneak in and walk out with a victory. And if our picks say anything, like I'd be 2-4. So I
Not
would say
Miami though. Miami's going into Buffalo. So
yeah, look, I this year, I mean, obviously we made our picks already. I would be 2-4 if that held true. So I'm really on home team, but I don't know, man. I always root for good football. I like to see good games. Playoffs have a magic for that, but on paper, there's a lot of mismatches here, man. I don't see Baltimore competing with Cincinnati, especially after seeing what we saw last week. I don't see Miami competing with Buffalo. I almost don't see Seattle competing with San Fran. Dallas too, for that matter, but Tampa's Tampa. So either way, kickoff is Saturday at 4:30. It concludes on Monday night at 8:15. And obviously anybody is welcome to join this league. So if you have friends, family that really didn't like fantasy, that didn't want to commit to themselves all year, this is a great little kind of sprint towards the Super Bowl. And at the end, we get that Super Bowl pool where we can all kind of just sit back, watch the game, and yell for field goals, I guess, at the end of halves to get different points and different numbers.
It'll be fun, man. Again, I think there's gonna be some people here that they're just looking to play the squares and are not in our league. So you don't have to be in our league. We're definitely gonna be having some fun chats about this in other communities from there. I also forgot to mention, with all the shit that we gave away, I want to put the graphic. It's just not time in the day. I want to put a graphic of all of the stuff that was given away, either weekly or at the start of the season, all the way through to what we just announced. We're still not done yet with stuff, but forgot to mention that every month during the season, we donated $100 a month every month that we were doing this to the Pat Tillman Foundation. So that was one of the things that we wanted to do is we did this 7 years ago. We were able to do that again this year, which is cool. And obviously Pat Tillman, big patriot, whatever the heck you want to call him, but he's a Cardinal, but physical. He's a country patriot, but he was a Cardinal too, man. So cool to see us do that. Happy that we did it, and all made possible because of this. It was fun. We're not done yet. We're still plugging away and doing a lot of cool things behind the scenes. Thanks, Mike, for putting all this together. Thank you, Paul, SP Film viewers, for doing these video intros. And of course, Dark Matter, Ashman Tunes did those for us too in the beginning. But lately it's been Paul kind of putting these things together at the very, very last minute for them because we wanted to be relevant, up to date. So thanks for everybody on that stuff. And yeah, man, anything you want to say before we bounce? I get the light coming in my window.
It's the witching hour of Trash Talk Tuesday, I guess.
Yep.
No, I mean, look, thank you for everybody who participated. Again, this all is an idea in our head, and unless you guys are into it. And we clearly had that engagement. We had a lot of fun on these podcasts week to week. A lot of fun in the engagement. A lot of fun late nights setting up the website with the new stats and answering questions and getting people. I mean, we saw a different level of engagement that we didn't really expect, but we kind of expected it. And again, we're really excited to see where this goes in the playoff push. Just to kind of keep some fun elements of this going, and obviously have a little bit more unfantasy leverage throughout the playoffs too.
I can't get rid of you yet, man. Got to continue to do these a little bit longer, but hopefully we'll have better results, and hopefully I'll get over the Patriots loss. But good stuff, man. I will be seeing you all around. Look, you're going to peace. That's it. You don't even say anything.
I let my play do the talking.